I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. You don't have to go to big cities when choosing to study in Canada. There are many cities to choose from, and Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, that's not the whole Canada. Today I'm sharing 5 underrated cities for international students and all the newcomers, honestly. And make sure to watch this video till the very end to find out the true Canadian gem, according to me. The first city I have on my list is Calgary, Alberta. Calgary has become so popular lately, so 1.5 million people chose to live there. I feel like Calgary is a perfect match if you want to live in a big city, but you don't want to spend so much money on housing. In terms of education, Calgary has a lot to offer. There are many universities such as University of Calgary, St. Mary's University, Amherst University, but they also have a few colleges such as Bow Valley College and SAIT. By the way, all educational institutions I mentioned in this video, they all offer post-graduation work permit. We are not interested in private education in here. Average housing prices in Calgary is not that bad. For one bedroom apartment, you will pay something between $1,200 to $1,400. And a single person living in Calgary will need $1,200 extra for day-to-day expenses. As for PR pathways, I feel like Alberta, amazing. They have a lot of immigration programs, and to be honest with you, they're much easier than Ontario or Quebec. The main industries in Calgary, Alberta are gas, oil, mining, a bit of a tourism. So if you're planning to study or work in those industries, Alberta is the place. But also Alberta will be perfect for anyone who loves outdoors, who loves nature, because there are so many gorgeous parks around Alberta. You literally drive for 2-3 hours, you're in the Rockies. Like, have you seen this? Gorgeous. The next underrated city is Ottawa. That's actually where I've studied. Ottawa is a fairly big city. There are 1 million people living there. And to be honest with you, when I moved to Ottawa, it felt like a village, I'm not gonna lie. When I visited Ottawa a few years ago, oh my god, it felt like a city. They've built a metro, they've built a lot of beautiful stuff. Ottawa has changed, okay? So if I was born 8 years ago, now it's getting like this city, like big city vibe. And what I really loved about Ottawa is the location, because you are 2 hours away from Montreal, you're 5 hours away from Toronto, so you're literally in the middle. If you want to go see your friends in Montreal, 2 hours. If you want to see your friends on the weekend in Toronto, 5 hours. Amazing. And let's not forget about the educational institutions. In Ottawa, we have Ottawa U, we have Carleton University, but we also have Algonquin College, that's where I studied. There is also Collège Boréal, and there is also La Cité. The housing might be on a higher price point compared to Calgary, so you would pay $1,500 for 1 bedroom, but the day-to-day expenses, they would be same as in Calgary, around $1,200 to $1,300 per person per month. As for the PR pathways, well, it's Ontario. You have express entry, you have provincial nominee, all the basic stuff, everything is available to you in Ottawa. As for the jobs, you might know that Ottawa is the government center, so a lot of government jobs, but it's not always like, you know, office jobs. There are a lot of IT positions, there are a lot of call center positions. I would also say that tourism and communications are really popular in Ottawa, because I don't know how many people visit Ottawa yearly, but I feel like a lot. Every time I go to the Parliament Hill, a lot of people, trust me. And if you get to this point of the video, I want you to comment, I'm moving to Canada. So you can call in all your desires and manifest your new life in Canada. You know what TikTok girls do? Like manifest the life you want? Share in the comments, I'm moving to Canada. And let's move to the next city. And the next city is Winnipeg, Manitoba. I almost never talk about Manitoba, but this city got on my list for a reason. Winnipeg is a bit smaller than Ottawa. It has around 750,000 people. Well, it's still a big city, right? Manitoba has 3 universities, University of Manitoba, University of Winnipeg, and MITT. But there are also colleges, which are technical schools. So there is Red River College, Polytechnic, Booth University College, and Canadian Forces School of Aerospace. Again, Winnipeg is not a huge city, so the cost of living will not be super high, so you can save up on your housing. As for PR, again, provincial nominee, Again, express entry, you can apply for those programs basically from any place in Canada except for my favorite Quebec, so take the chance and apply for express entry. The strongest industries as per Winnipeg's website are agriculture, pharmaceuticals, aerospace, and a bunch of heavy-duty stuff. Again, mining, so if you're planning to be a miner or work in the medical, like pharmaceutical industry, Winnipeg would be amazing for you. And again, if you like quiet, peaceful places, I feel like Winnipeg would be perfect for you. So you kind of live in a big city, but it's not like Toronto or like Vancouver with like, what, 5 million of people living there? So yeah, big city, but a quiet city. The next city is an interesting choice, and it is Cornwall, Ontario. This city is literally like a village compared to the rest of the cities on this list because there are only 50,000 people living there. But what's perfect is the location. If you like Miss Yulia and love Montreal, but also you don't really want to live in Quebec because Quebec is like, you know, we all know what Quebec is. Cornwall. It's located an hour and a half from Montreal and an hour 20 from Ottawa. So you can live in Ontario, but go to Montreal for the weekend. I feel like that's amazing. First of all, because you will be able to apply through provincial nominee and express entry, which doesn't work in Quebec, so you're good. But also there are a few educational institutions in Cornwall. So we have St. Lawrence College in there, and we have Laurentian University. Even though the choice is literally a college or university, I feel like Cornwall is a great city if you wanna come study, get your degree, save on living expenses, go party to big cities like Montreal and Ottawa, and it's just like perfect. A one-bedroom apartment in Cornwall will cost you $900, $1,000. Try finding a locker for $900 in Toronto or in Vancouver. You can barely rent a parking spot for that amount of money. As for PR, I've mentioned that already. We have provincial nominee in here, we have express entry, but also Cornwall was testing the agriculture pilot. I feel like they closed it as of now, but if they reopen it, you will have a bigger chance of getting your PR because you will have this pilot. Cornwall would be a perfect place for people who just want a quiet life, but who also want to go to the cities, to Montreal for the weekend. I feel like we've been to Cornwall so many times because all of the fun stuff, let's say apple picking or like corn maze, everything fall, you know, Miss Yulia loves fall. All the fall activities, they are in this area. So every time we go somewhere, it's the Cornwall area. So if you have kids, let's say, or you're planning to start a family, Cornwall, amazing. And the gem of my list is Kitchener and Waterloo. First of all, Kitchener and Waterloo, they're literally neighbors, so people often put them together. The whole area is around 400,000 people, so it's kind of like tiny, but I mean, it's all right. Kitchener and Waterloo, they're so close to Toronto, literally 1 hour drive, but the rent is gonna be so much cheaper because you're not in the Toronto area. Some of the universities and colleges have campuses there, for example, George Brown or Conestoga. There's also University of Waterloo, McMaster University, and Wilfrid Laurier University. And if you're in IT or engineering, you know that Waterloo is the GOAT, the greatest of all times, because Google has an office there. A lot of big companies are based there because Waterloo is basically a tech hub. And the best part is, Google hires a lot of interns from those universities, from those colleges. So if you want to build a career, let's say in IT or engineering, and you're planning to go to Canada, Waterloo, hear me out, go to Waterloo, get that internship at Google, and then I'm expecting a postcard saying, "Thank you, Miss Yulia, now I work as a senior engineer at Google." Again, not all small cities are born, and even if they are, you can always buy a car and go to bigger places. Living in a smaller city means you will be saving on rent, so you can just buy a car and go to a big city on the weekend. As a person who lived in a big city, you will not always be spending all the time in there. You have your Monday to Friday, so the time you have to spend in a big city is literally the weekend. So maybe it is worth it to live in a smaller city while you're studying and then move to a bigger one. And this is it for today. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!